Male white tears. Really white tears in general. Airing out, and then as soon as it get caught, it's like green waterworks.
And value. And value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV.
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh no. Oh no. Notorious racist Joy Reid breaks down sobbing after being fired from her MSNBC show. She says, quote, "My show had value." This is a microcosm, an archetypal representation of how the left has been coping with the accountability that's been exercised over them by the American people. If I were to list every single way we're holding them accountable, this video would be probably 6 to 8 hours. But instead, I'm just going to let us appreciate what this is, and then I'm going to show you a few examples.
that what I was doing.
Okay. Let me remind you guys. Joy Reid records a video saying white people are crying because they're being held accountable or whatever. And then in this clip right here, she is crying after being held accountable. It's unreal. It's surreal. A lot of these reverse situations are happening where reality itself is judging them. It's not even as if we're beating them. Reality is beating them through irony, through sheer irony.
In America, there's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears.
No one knows what she's talking about here. It's disconnected with reality entirely. There is literally no relationship anything she's saying here has with truth.
Particularly male white tears.
And value. And value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV.
Really white tears in general, because that's what Karens are, right?
So I'm just gonna play this part again.
Male white tears. Really white tears in general.
She's talking about how people disagreeing with her and holding her accountable are, quote, male white tears. No one knows what that means. It's very esoteric, because most of what leftists say has nothing to do with reality. It's just based on their fever dreams of resentment. So when you try to understand what a leftist is saying, you got to keep in mind they're living in a fiction. They don't live in reality because reality is too difficult and oppressive. Anyway, let's hear what she has to say.
Because that's what Karens are, right? They
Karens, right. Okay, she's probably been called Karen a bunch of times for being incoherent, low IQ, etc. And so now in the inversion, she's saying that people holding her accountable, which on average are probably white men, they're the Karens, right? And they're crying. Meanwhile, she's recording a video on what? TikTok or Instagram, crying about it. And that's not even what I'm about to show you next. Oh, it's good. This is good.
Airing out, and then as soon as it get caught, it's like green waterworks.
Yeah, I'm sure white men are crying around you a lot, doing, quote, waterworks. Yeah, true. But let's keep this in mind as we switch over to this video. What happened?
And value. And value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV.
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh no. Oh no. What's the Karen? Who's the Karen now? Oh my gosh. There's so many angles to this. Accountability is offensive to leftists. That's the reason why in the previous video she inverted truth and said the people holding her accountable are the ones crying and they're the Karens, right? And now that she's held accountable, she's crying. Oh my gosh. You know, there are an infinite number of ways that the degenerate female psyche is finding out that its pathetic wretchedness will simply not be tolerated in society any longer. This is real. I mean, this is one example, but here's another one right here. Remember this deformed lady who tried to paint the presidential debate stage with her degenerate femininity? This is what happened to her.
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to you.
The degenerate female cattiness is part and parcel of rejecting reality. Keep that in mind. It's central to the left-wing ethos because the left believes themselves above reality.
Nasty person, I'll tell you.
So she's held accountable here already, but that's not even where it ends.
Can you answer why
Very
you
simple.
held on to the document?
She interrupts him again.
I was negotiating, and we were talking to Nara.
Well, that's a good one.
Mr. President, you won the White House in part because of high inflation.
Oh, look who it is. And she's smirking too, as if she gets to control what's going on, as if she's the arbiter of virtue, as if she's the one who's going to get everyone to see after he signed this document how he's actually a bad force. Because again, she's narcissistic. She thinks everyone agrees with her, despite the fact that CNN has shrinking viewership and everyone literally voted for Trump. Let's see how it goes though.
Mr. President, you won the White House in part because of high inflation.
Cringe woman speaking.
If your tariffs make prices go up.
Excuse me, we haven't asked you to speak yet, please. Right?
That's an interesting difference in dichotomy there. The moment he starts talking, you be quiet. Wait a second. Why didn't you do that here? What happened? These degenerate women are finding out this election, and people are confused because they ask questions like, why is Elon Musk at the center of the MAGA movement now? It's because of this reason right here. The referendum was technically on degenerate femininity because the degenerate female psyche is the sensual spirit that animates the left's denial of reality. This is what I want people to understand in my videos. I've talked about this over and over again, probably in hundreds of my videos at this point. Go check them out. The degenerate female psyche cannot stand being held accountable because accountability stems from objective reality, and most of the time is delivered via masculinity as the apparatus, meaning masculinity as the embodiment of that objective reality exercises accountability on these degenerate women that thought they could be the arbiters of truth, that they are the arbiters of virtue, that they're good people and simultaneously oppressed. So this is exactly what needs to happen. This is what's happening, and we couldn't ask for anything better. This is how society moves forward. If you look at history in the last 100 years, you can tell that humanity is evolving on a very slow process in terms of its realizations. We fight wars over central values being realized and instantiated in culture. You can see that in World War II. You can see these movements happening. The movement of the 21st century is overcoming the degenerate female psyche so that the left in its current form can be vanquished forever, because otherwise we won't be able to live in a world of progress. We'll constantly be burdened by those that have resentment for progress and humanity itself. And that's what's going on here.
And I think this is kind of like me on TV, so I
This is great.
apologize.
What you're seeing here is that process, is us transcending the degenerate female psyche.
And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well.
Bro, there's no way she actually just said, and then there's Karen.
And then it mattered. I see Karen.
Dude, is the source code for the Matrix playing a joke on me right now? Is this actually what she just said? Karen, are you kidding me? After she said this?
All right. They Karen out, and then as soon as they get caught, it's like,
Dude, and then she's, oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. If it seems like reality itself is beating them, that's because it is, and because they've declared war on reality. This is amazing.
And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is,
Notice the expectation for them to be coddled here. Oh, it's okay if I cry on national TV because I've been victimized as a result of being held accountable. This is the card they try to play when masculinity exercises reality on their completely narcissistic and psychopathic worldview. And that's technically what it is, by the way, because for a degenerate woman to believe that they can get away with having a worldview that is fundamentally incongruent with reality, you have to be a narcissist. You have to be a psychopath to believe yourself to be superior to reality itself. But upon everyone seeing that, and therefore everyone seeing that they're frauds, they expect to be victimized. That's the reason why she's crying here.
is that in the end, thank you.
Literally being like handed tissues on TV.
Where I land is that the moment that of guilt that I felt that
Every single aspect of this degenerate woman's degeneracy has been held accountable. She's been fired from her show. Every single thing she said on her show has been false. This racist has been judged.
I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young.
Her IQ is double digits, and she's been judged as a result. But of course, it's not just incompetence. There's also malevolence. And these people, given that they're driven by resentment for reality, are malevolent as well.
Make prices
I'll show you guys the end of this video because it's satisfying.
go up.
Excuse me, we haven't asked you to speak yet, please. Okay. Go ahead, please.
You won the White
Go
House
ahead.
in part.
Go ahead.
Tries again,
Mr. President, you are meeting Prime
and he points at a man instead.
Minister Modi of India this
And he asks a more competent question.
afternoon. What kind of trade and tariff relations you would like to have with India, and what's the vision for India?
What's the answer?
Ironically, the question asked by this Indian man was in light of tariffs being helpful, given that it will facilitate a healthy relationship between President Modi and Trump. Check this out, though, right here.
Make prices
She's smirking.
go up.
She thinks that she is superior, that people agree with her.
We haven't asked you to speak yet, please.
And then, from behind the desk, where the most powerful man in the world sits, a masculine billionaire elected by the majority tells the woman to be quiet. I'll play that again.
Because of high inflation. If your tariffs make prices go up,
Excuse me, we haven't asked you to speak yet, please.
Masculine, competent billionaire, president, most powerful man in the world, tells women to be quiet. Yes, dude. Again, this is what accountability looks like. Reality itself is owning these degenerate freaks. Subscribe to the channel, dude.